Welcome back, everyone, to the Duke Men's Lacrosse Show. I'm JD Blitch, along with head coach John Danowski, and today we are thrilled to be joined by Joe Robertson, veteran attackman for the Blue Devils. Joe's a fifth-year player, captain on the team, and nicknamed Captain Clutch after multiple game-winning goals last year. Joe, thanks for coming on the show today. We're glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll get some great input from both you today, but Coach, I want to start with you. What were your thoughts on Saturday's game? 14-7 win over Towson, and what did you see that went right for the team?
Well, Charles Dickens, Coach Dickens said it best. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Or maybe it was the worst of times first half, second half it was the best of times. Can't really explain it, don't really understand it, but I do know, even though defensively we, quote, only gave up 4 goals, the way we gave up 4 goals was really oddly strange. And offensively, we took 19 shots, and which is a decent number, right? And but we went 2 for 19 shooting. Sometimes you want to tip your cap to your opponent's goalie or your opponent's defense. But we didn't play with a tremendous amount of confidence. And but second half, Joe Robertson yelled and screamed at the team during halftime, and then the guys really responded to Joe's leadership, and we scored 3 goals in 1 minute and 40 seconds. Now I can't explain why you only scored 2 in 30 minutes and then 3 in 1 minute 40, and maybe certainly Joe could explain that.
Absolutely, Joe. What were your thoughts on the game, and what did you feel like the guys did well?
Yeah, I think we definitely came out slow. It's pretty evident, a little bit shaky on both ends of the field, but I think besides coach's comments, which kind of summed it up well, I think in the second half we came out, just played with a little bit more energy, intensity, and confidence. Kind of the message at halftime was, look, we're only down by 2 goals and we haven't played great, so if we come out and we just play our game, we're going to be fine. And I think guys really took that to heart and tried to go out there and just play together and play hard. And when we made the simple looks, we score really, really easily. So I think coming out and Brennan hitting that first shot gave us a lot of confidence to just get things rolling. For sure.
That was a great 7-0 run by Duke to start the third quarter. And if you were to be your own biggest critic, it was a really solid win, but what is something the team can do better and you're going to focus on in practice this week?
Definitely going to focus on riding and clearing. I think it's something that we focus on every week, but definitely have to revisit it. Had a couple, errors in terms of us just not thinking or not being on the same page. Throwing the ball when someone's not looking and hitting the other team happened actually twice. And, I think just cleaning up the middle of the field some, offensively in the box, looking to increase our body speed off ball and just kind of get things going. I think the goal, I want the goal to be for moving forward, just to come out hot. I mean, we haven't come out hot in the past 2 games, 3 games, and we need to come out and really take a big punch right away.
Sweet. And Coach, momentum is a word that's thrown around a lot in sports. Do you believe in momentum where one game can affect the next week's game?
Well, I think in a microcosm, you could say that Jake Naso on Saturday provided tremendous momentum for our team. Scoring a goal, getting the ball back. Scoring a goal, getting the ball back. I think we won 9 out of 10 faceoffs in that quarter, and the faceoff that we lost, we actually rode and got back. So we got 10 straight possessions after the faceoff, and so I think you see it happen in a game, and you're hoping that this confidence, Loyola, we won the second half 8-2. This time we won the second half 12-3. We need to put together 60 minutes. 30 minutes is really good, but the game is 60 minutes, and that's the ultimate goal.
Definitely. And so, what will you do to help the team get that first 30 minutes down and start strong in the games coming up?
I have no idea, at this point. But we're going to try whatever it takes. Last week, traditionally like in warm-ups. We've tried to change our warm-up a little bit to try to get a little bit more movement, a little bit more ball movement, a little more body movement. Maybe we change a little bit what we do pre-game. Last week we didn't go back in the locker room, which normally we go back in the locker room. I don't know. And I think sometimes you just kind of, you're kind of really stretching for things. I think the elements of this past week and the week before, you just see a lot of the good things. You see all the possibilities. We're going to work on the things we're not good at, and we'll try to, continue to improve our strengths.
And with the Syracuse game this week, I want to ask you about John Desco, a longtime coach for the Orange who retired this past offseason. Were there any things you learned from Desco as you guys battled it out in the ACC?
The beauty, I think, of Syracuse lacrosse over the years has been the kids who go to Syracuse, they love Syracuse. They love to play lacrosse. There's a joy and a freedom that they have, that they've always had. And I think John has had a lot to do with that. And he learned that from his predecessor, Coach Simmons, that they love to compete for Syracuse. They love to be part of their history. I think that's the biggest thing, the freedom that those guys had to play the game and to play it in a very, a freewheeling style, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And Joe, as a fifth-year player and a captain, how do you use that influence to make the team better and help your teammates improve?
Yeah, I think just try to go out and lead and play the way that the players before me did. I think I've had an unbelievably grateful experience here at Duke, and just being exposed to so many great teammates and players, and just being kind of brought up and molded in the Duke lacrosse culture that's been set in place by Coach Danowski, kind of shapes and kind of pushes you towards that leadership position. So by the time you're fifth year, it's almost natural instinct. And so I think just kind of trying to be myself while also being aware of the team and where we're at and kind of the vibe of the team, and kind of pushing guys that way.
For sure. And who's one player in particular who you learned a lot from in your first few years at Duke?
Yeah, Brad Smith was a big one. It was actually great. I got to see Brad a couple days ago, last week, and he was super influential. He's always just been someone that's really easy to talk to, someone who's been through a lot as a player here at Duke, and just always provides really sound guidance. Was never afraid to pull you aside in practice and let you know one or two things you did wrong or could have done better, and someone that I always looked up to.
That's awesome. And coming out of high school, you were somehow rated as only a 3-star recruit, but you had an outstanding freshman year. Was there a specific moment in your career where things just clicked for you, and something that gave you a bunch of confidence and allowed you to take your game to the next level, or just a slow progression of getting better?
I don't. There wasn't one thing in particular. I think it's all attributed to stuff building up over time, and I think it's attributed a lot to my teammates and how good they've played and made me look. I think freshman year, something that I always tell people and something I always remember is went to line up against Air Force in our first game, my first game ever, and Justin Gutterding kind of looked at me and said, "Hey, trust me, it's much easier than practice," and that kind of calmed me down and in a way made me feel really, really confident, and went out there, and he was right. Just the way that we practice here makes us so much better in the real games.
And if you were to give a piece of advice right now to a high school player who's maybe thinking about coming to Duke, what would you tell them to expect?
Fundamentals. Work on your fundamentals. Work on your stick skills, and just have fun playing. Go out and compete, try to win every game, and just don't let the time go by. Just enjoy it.
There's a well-coached player right there. And let's go to the face-off. So, Joe, this is a section Coach and I have where it's more fun fact questions. Doesn't have to be about lacrosse. Coach, I want to start with you. What is your favorite band or artist?
Well, it was Little Feat for a while. All right. Now, you've never heard of Little Feat. I can see that look in your eye. Right? Fabulous. When you go home tonight, Google Little Feat, listen to their music. But lately, it's been the Steep Canyon Rangers. And I have to admit, the Steep Canyon Rangers all went to Chapel Hill. And it's kind of like bluegrass, which I've never been into ever. But I am really I love their sound, and I've been listening to a lot of them lately.
I'll give both a listen. I'm a fan of bluegrass, but with Little Feat, what's their best album or best song?
Well, people would say "Waiting for Columbus," "Fat Man in the Bathtub with the Blues." Oh, what a song!
All right, that's awesome. And Joe, you've got a brother who played for UVA lacrosse and a brother who played for Maryland. Were you cheering for one team or the other in the game on Saturday when they faced off?
Neither. Couldn't care less.
All righty. And let's go to Syracuse game on Saturday. It'll be the start of ACC play. Coach, what challenges will this particular Syracuse team present, and how do you prepare for those?
This is going to sound crazy, all right? But we have met the enemy, and we are it. It's about us. It's about us preparing for the next game and playing lacrosse. And I think every team, at some point, there's a reckoning point where a team actually believes that. Now, a coach says it every week, but the players don't necessarily believe you. Not because they don't trust you. It's just because they don't see it. But I think after 11 games, I think the guys are starting to understand exactly what it is, what it looks like when we play well and when we don't play well, and why we don't. Everything that when we don't play well, in my opinion, is fixable. It's all fixable. And when we play well, it's because we got some good players, who play well together. We have a very capable face-off guy and wing play. That's not going to change. There's nothing that our opponent can do that we haven't seen or we need to, we can adjust a little bit. But, we have a goalie who can stop, bad angle shots, stop shots from the outside, and he's very capable. But we need to play really good, solid defense in the paint in front of him. Offensively, when we share the ball and move it, it's anybody's day. Last week was Brennan's, but it's been Nakai's, it's been Joe's, it's been Dyson's, it's been the second assist is often overlooked, and Joe had a second assist the other day, and Nakai had a second assist, and it's not something that's in the record book, but we keep it. So when we're unselfish and move the ball, I believe we're dangerous regardless of how defenses slide or what their packages are, and I believe that when we're play really good team defense in front of people, when we clear the ball, for the most part, when we turn it over, it's self-inflicted. And when we ride smartly, we don't have to necessarily get the ball back, but we want to be, we don't want to give up any, half-field goals. So, our biggest opponent this week is wearing blue.
Awesome. And, absolutely the roster is chock full of talent, and it's been fun to see the team kind of start to put things together a little bit. And should be a very exciting game on Saturday. It's a noon face-off at the Carrier Dome on ESPNU, so I'll be tuning in, and I think a lot of other people will be as well. Should be a great game, and I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
JD, before we go, man, you can give us an opportunity to shoot you a little bit of a lightning round.
All right, go for it.
Favorite Duke professor?
Favorite Duke professor is Craig Rawlings. He is a sociology professor. I took a class with him in the fall, and really was thrilled with how the class was taught and all that I learned. Thought he was a really good professor.
Share with us one thing that you learned from that class. This is really putting you on the spot now.
It is, and I think Dr. Rawlings has prepared me well. I learned just a lot about social interaction. I think specifically a lot about the education system and how that was designed to kind of have a hidden curriculum. Sometimes you're learning a lot of social skills and networking and trying to make connections rather than just what's taught on the curriculum. I thought that was really cool to think about how we're always learning, and some of the times it's not just schoolwork that we're learning about. It's other life skills.
Well done.
Thank you. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Duke Men's Lacrosse Show. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to next episode as well. Go Duke.
Go Duke.
Go Duke.